So we know we got a leak up here. I tried to start the engine earlier and pretty much got this. Traced it over here to the hack that I had, the bypass I had for the alarm system for the starter, and these vampire clips are not working well. I saw a nice spark in there when I tried to do it earlier, so those are coming off, and I'm not using this anyway. It doesn't support key fobs, it's just the alarm, so I am going to create a jumper off of the board connector that will just plug into this, so I don't have to worry about this potentially being a hot spot during extensive cranking because this wire's smaller, or that there's not enough contact in here for the amperage, because those will get really hot if they're not supporting the amount of amperage draw. So let me go see what I can do with this. So the original goal with this was to allow me to wire up an aftermarket alarm system, but for now, some wire and some solder should help with the cranking issue. Alright, let's try this again. Here is my new plate, retaining plate, that retains the flange here on each of the low side and the high side pipe coming from the evaporator coil. And I put a little nylon blue on here. That's that thread sealant stuff. It's also a good lubricant for the O-rings. And you see, you don't want to, there shouldn't be much stretch putting the O-ring on to have the right size, and it should be typically not quite full width of the flange. Usually it's about half. Now the high pressure side, it should just drop right on there without having to stretch it. That one might be too big, but I don't have anything thinner than that. I think that'll be okay though. So that's the one that leaked. You saw it got crushed. I think it'll be okay. Let's try it. I also put a little bit of that nylon blue around the rim, because the flange sits here and then that lip below it is where the O-ring seats. It feels like there's a good seal there. Put these screws back in and we'll tighten it down and see if there is any gap on around the support plate. Go. See if I feel on this side. I'm gonna look down the side. I don't see a gap. I don't see a gap up here or down there looking at it from the side. I think it's nice and sealed. Let's see, do we still have the O-rings? The O-rings are still on the lines. There it goes. And then the 2 retaining nuts on the studs that come up from the backing plate. Hook all the lines back up and we'll check pressure and see if it'll hold. I'm actually going to go on the high side this time, just in case I put more than, say, 250 pounds of pressure in there, because the low side really doesn't like that. The high side should be okay, which is on the Seiko Seiki. It was on the end of the compressor. So let's open up the valve here. Alright, there's 200. Now let's open up the compressor port. Let it go in. Looks like it's filling up. It's dropping. Why is it dropping? Expansion valve. Looks like it equalized at 110 and it stopped at 110. This valve and the valve on the compressor are currently open. Let me see if it'll take a little more. $120. The expansion valve, I think, is letting it flow back to the other side. There it went. Here we go again. Let's see the aftermath of the O-ring this time. Well, it wasn't the top. There's no oil spray around anywhere. I have to adjust that. Oops, that little thing is in the way. I may have to adjust that plate. Yep. High side on the bottom again. All of that stuff came spraying out. And you can see down there on the plate. It sprayed all the way out. It actually doesn't look like it's sealing well at all there. If it's the plate. I got it. Think I got it. It looks like the flanges that I machined, the lip that was on the factory piece does not work for some reason with this setup now. So every piece that I had cut, I have to actually put a rubber shim under the flange of the high pressure pipe to push it up into the expansion valve. It's holding 200 right now on both sides, so I think it is good now. I'm gonna maybe push it on upwards to 250 and see what happens. If it doesn't pop, then I think I'm gonna pull a vacuum on it and see if I can actually get it down to 500 microns.